I thought it'd be a great idea to put together a quick list of some of the things that are important for RC beginners to have in order to maintain and look after their RC cars properly. This is a very basic list of things, and some may even say the bare essentials to keep an RC in tip-top condition. This video has been created and intended for absolute beginners, so enthusiasts and professionals feel free to skip to another video. So let's begin. Let's take a look at number 1. A good set of basic tools is a must. When I started out in the RC hobby, I used to rely on free and included tools that you sometimes get in ready to run boxes. The problem is, most times you get very small and basic tools. They're just not up to the job of, let's say, for example, stripping an RC down and rebuilding it, maintaining diffs, or changing out gearing. I would really recommend investing in some decent tools, as they will make your life so much easier. I've picked up a good set of hex drivers from Banggood recently, and I was pleasantly surprised as to how good they felt and have nice quality tips. And that just goes to show you really don't have to spend a huge amount of money to get good quality tools. I would say some needle nose pliers, wire cutters, flathead and Phillips screwdrivers of various sizes, a good set of hex drivers and a metal cross wrench are the bare minimum required to properly take apart an RC car. Using cheap tools will make your life a misery, as you'll more than likely round very tight screw heads and potentially ruin all the hardware on your RC car. So get yourself a good set of basic hand tools and you should be good to go. We move on now to some items that are definitely worth keeping handy around your workshop. Threadlock is an adhesive used on threads of bolts and screws to help prevent any loosening with vibration and constant impacts. Threadlock is used very often on grub screws, motor mount screws, and any screws on an RC car which may have a tendency to work their way loose or back out. You have to be careful with the amount used, as too much will make it very difficult to remove the screw or bolt, and heat may be required to remove stuck screws. Also try and avoid red thread lock, because that is extremely strong and difficult to remove in most cases. Blue will get the job done absolutely fine. It's always worth having some spare shock oils of various weights, as I can almost guarantee with hard bashing at some point you will pop a shock cap and all the oil will spill out. Grease is another thing you want to keep handy, especially when servicing diffs or working on gearing. I use automotive grease and I have had this tin for years, costing next to nothing, but some prefer to use RC branded grease, but in my opinion there is nothing wrong with the cheaper stuff. You can also get different weight diff oils, but not all RC diffs will be suitable unless sealed. Gorilla Glue, CA or Super Glue is always worth having around, especially when it comes to gluing tyres, back to rims or quick fixes. Cable ties or zip ties are always handy and can be used to secure wiring, tidy messy cables, or again temporary quick fixes of broken parts. Servo tape and double-sided tape is always good to have around, as you can use it to secure ESCs and receivers to a chassis. Finally, body clips. I must have gone through thousands of these things over the years. It's worth keeping some spare. Again, I can guarantee when out bashing you will be losing these all the time. Keep a variety of sizes depending on which RC models you run, and you should be good to go. USB chargers are a great way to get you up and running, but if RC is definitely for you and you have no intention of leaving the hobby, then upgrading to a dedicated mains power charger will be your best and safest option. I've found in the past that USB chargers don't always balance a LiPo pack properly, which will reduce your runtime and potentially cause damage to your LiPo, or in extreme cases, your electronics. Proper chargers will have added safety features and will even tell you if there is a voltage issue, potentially indicating there may be a damaged cell. But hold on, it's not all about LiPo batteries. A lot of these chargers will charge multiple different batteries of various different chemistries. You can pick up some very good chargers these days for very good prices, and I will leave links in the description below for you to go and check out some of my favourite RC battery chargers. Cleaning and maintenance is a very important part of owning an RC vehicle. Dust and grime build up on an RC car isn't great, as this can cause premature wear to components and extra stress on the drivetrain. Using purpose-made RC brushes or even toothbrushes are an ideal way to eliminate dust and dirt from your RC model straight after use, especially when dirt has made its way into very tight places. Having some cloths handy is a very good idea, especially when working with oil and grease. Maintenance sprays such as WD-40 and GT85 are very handy to have around in your home workshop, as they come in handy when it comes to servicing metal components such as hinge pins and transmission parts. Having some bearing oil may also be a very good idea, especially if you run your RCs in wet and rainy conditions. A well cleaned and serviced car is much nicer to use. It's important to remember that the durability of a serviced and cleaned car is much better than a car that hasn't been serviced and cleaned. The functioning of the suspension and drivetrain of a car that's been kept clean and serviced is much smoother, and this proves how important cleaning is and how it affects the overall performance of the car. A soldering iron is a very important thing to have, especially if you run electric RC cars. I can almost guarantee there will be a time where you need to make up an adapter or you need to change battery connectors. Soldering can appear to be a daunting task for most people, but it's actually very simple and there are many tutorials available online. A good quality solder and soldering iron will make the overall process a lot easier compared to some very cheap ones you can find on places like eBay. I would advise checking out some reviews and getting yourself the best soldering set you can afford to make the process as simple as possible. I currently use a Weller SP80, which is an 80 watt soldering iron, and it has a very large tip which may be a little bit overkill for normal applications, but considering I solder XT90 connectors and some very thick gauge wire, it's ideal for me. Most soldering jobs when it comes to RC cars are pretty simple, and again many tutorials are available online for you to follow. So there we go then, that is my list of essential items every RC beginner should have when getting into the RC hobby or starting out. Now I'm not saying go out and buy all of these things now, as you probably don't need everything mentioned, but I think it's a good start if you plan on staying in the hobby long term. Have I missed anything? If I have, feel free to drop a comment down below and let me know. Do you want to see more beginner inspired videos? Again, let me know and I'll see what I can do. We're going to leave the video there today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again soon on the next one. Take care.